The lady that's calling the churches to see if they will give formula to her starving baby. Of course they're not going to give formula to a starving baby. We've been telling y'all this for decades, and I'm so sick of seeing it spin around all over the internet that, oh my God, she's calling and now we're just now seeing it. It's 2025! We have poor people on the streets! If the churches worked, there would be no hungry or poor people on the streets! God damn! That's the fucking point! Christ is not in the church! Jesus is not in the church! He has never been in the church! He is the one who told you to leave the fucking church! He told you to leave! Oh my God! I'm so sick of explaining this to people. He said, you made a mockery of my father by taking this money and not helping the people. That's what he said! That's what he said!
Christians, we got you. Today, we fucking got you. Why is she screaming? This is the reason. Just watch this.
26 churches, and 23 of them turned her down. This is what happened to Nicolene. She called 26 churches for help. She pretended to be a desperate mother without baby formula, even playing the sound of a baby crying in the background, begging for help. Some churches gave excuses, some hung up, and others coldly responded, "We don't do that here." But she didn't give up. She made another call, but this time not to a church, to a Muslim mosque. The response was completely different. "Where are you? What kind of formula do you need? Come here, we'll help you." The churches who preach love thy neighbor failed to offer any help in a time of need, while the often misunderstood Muslim community showed what real faith looks like through action. After this experiment, some supported Nicole, believing she exposed the hypocracy of the religious system. Others criticized her for stirring unnecessary controversy. But no matter where you stand, we all have to ask ourselves, if even those who claim to preach love can't practice it, then where can we find real love?
You know, guys, we always tell you that the church is filled with people who are hypocrites, okay? Imagine out of the 26 churches that she called, a few of them were willing to help her get a can of baby formula. And a can of baby formula is not millions of dollars. It's not even thousands of dollars. It's not even hundreds of dollars. A can of milk is just $17, $20, depending on where you're gonna buy it from. Now, look, I made a list, guys. I made a fucking list of the people who actually helped her. Guys, just look at all the churches that turned this woman down. The first church was First Baptist Church of Maryville. Shame on you people. And then there is First Baptist Church of London. They turned her down. And then there is Trinity Baptist Church. And then there's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Guys. Latter-day Saints, man. Mormons, come on, man. I was counting on you. Guys, the thing that I never tell you is that I was a Mormon before I deconstructed. Okay? Like, I even have their fucking Bible here. The Book of Mormon. I used to read this thing every single day. Come on, man. And Mormons, I still think you're one of the Christian denominations that I can actually join if my life depended on going to church. Look, I used to read all this. There's Alma, there's the book of Helaman, and then there's the book of Jacob, there's the book of Nephi. I used to read this thing every single day, man. Mormons, come on, man. You can't even help a woman who wants one can of baby formula. Come on, guys. You can do better than that. Guys, and then there is of course, there is Lakewood Church. I'm not surprised. Joel Osteen, he made it very clear he's not in the business of helping people, so I am not surprised that Lakewood Church did not do a thing about this. And then there is Fourth Presbyterian Church. Shame on you guys. And then there is Central United Methodist Church. Shame on you guys. And then there is Our Lady of Sorrows Parish. Shame on you. And then there is Broadmoor Baptist Church. Shame on you. Knoxville First Church of God. Shame on you. There is I think it is Waverly Church of Nazarene. Shame on you people. Grace and Holy Trinity Cathedral. Shame on you. There is First Baptist Church. Fucking shame on you. Then there is Trinity. Is this Episcopal Cathedral? Yeah, shame on you people. First Nazareth Baptist Church, they didn't do a thing. The United House of Prayer for All People. Guys, the church calls themselves the United House of Prayer for All People. And they can't even help all people. This woman is the literal definition of all people. She is all people. What other people do you think are all people, man? And then there's a Church of the Hill. Shame on you people. And then there is Living Faith Christian Center. Shame on you. And then there is Germantown Baptist Church. Shame on you. And then there is church in the Wind, Denver. Shame on you. Then there is Woodman Valley Chapel. Shame on you. And then there is Dream City Church in Phoenix. Shame on you. The only people who helped this woman, look at how many people were willing to take a chance and help someone who was in need. There is Heritage Hope Church of God. Oh my God. Those are amazing people. They picked the call and they told the woman, where are you? We are gonna get you. And we're gonna give you all the help that you need. There is another church, Our Lady of Fatima. Our Lady of Fatima Cathedral Church. They were like, we will be honored to help you, ma'am. Where are you? And then there's another church, Our Lady of the Hills Cathedral Church. They were also more than willing to help this woman. May God bless those people. Of course, there is Islamic Center of Charlotte. Islamic Center of Charlotte. They were ready. They were ready to come where the woman was and give her all the help that she needed. And then there is WOM. There is one Buddhism temple in North Carolina. Oh my God, those are amazing people.
Christians and churches are responding after a woman went viral for calling churches asking for baby formula for her starving baby, and most of them turned her down. And what some of them are saying is absolutely wild. One church said what that woman is doing is evil and even compared it to witchcraft.
Guys, you see this pastor over here? This guy said that this woman is a witch, and people who are doing this kind of things are demons. Look guys, I don't understand where these pastors and these Christians get the self-righteousness to an extent that they get to call other people demons. I thought the church was supposed to help people who are in need. So this pastor is bragging about how they always do that all the time. You know, they are giving help to other people. They are giving food and blah, blah. Like, this is one person who needed the same help that you give other people. But because they don't know her or she's not in the program, they cannot help her. I remember Jesus said in the Bible, he gave a story or a parable that a shepherd lost one of his sheep and he had to abandon or to leave the other sheep and go after this one sheep, and he had to save that one sheep. That is exactly what is going on here. There is one person in need. There is a sheep that was in need, but you as a shepherd, you are going to stick with the 99 sheep and you're going to let this one sheep be eaten by wolves? That is not what Jesus preached. That is not what Jesus preached. Let's keep watching this thing.
He said this woman is a liar. She is indulging in trickery. She has the spirit of a witch, and if she comes near our church, she will be dealt with swiftly. This church, who also turned her down over the phone, said if a mother in need was at the doors of our church, raise your hand if you would help her. And when a majority of the people raised their hands, he said that's the only social experiment that I need. And this pastor of another church who also turned her down said that we are not obligated to help in a situation like this, and the only reason the mosque did is because they're obligated to by their faith. He said they get hundreds of scam calls and people wanting money, and they can't prove that she's actually in need. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation.
It gets to a point where you just start questioning everything. For example, why do we have the church? If a pastor can publicly say that the church is not in the business of helping people, that they are not obligated to help a person in need, then why the fuck do you exist? Why do you exist? What is, like, we've always on this channel, we've always questioned the efficacy of the church, the functionality of the church, the purpose of the church, the utility of the church. You know, I think sometimes as the society, we have given the church or these religious institutions too much grace. Yes, I said it. We, as the society, has given the church too much grace. These people don't even pay taxes. And now they got balls. They are bold enough to tell us that they are not in the business of helping people. They are scamming people, and we are not even talking about it. They are doing shady activities in these religious institutions, and we don't interfere. Because we are trying to keep the boundaries clean, and you're trying to respect their autonomy, and we're trying not to interfere with their businesses and their activities. But now I think as society we have to intervene, and we have to check these churches. Regulations must be put in place so that the church can start behaving like an institution that is meant to serve humanity. Oh my God. Let's keep watching this video.
Hey everybody, Pastor Stephen Anderson here from Faithful Word Baptist Church in Phoenix, Arizona. So I made a post on X about how the church should not be funding single mothers who are whores. And the post just got ratioed to high heaven, and just everybody's on there just saying how I don't know the Bible, I'm nothing like Jesus, and I'm of the devil, and all this stuff. And this just goes to show just the stupidity and ignorance of scripture that exists among today's so-called Christians. I mean, this is such a clear issue in the Bible. This should not be controversial at all, and let you just have so many people on X that are just losing their minds about me stating what should just be the most obvious thing in the world. Let's go to the Bible and see what the Bible actually says. Okay, 1 Timothy chapter 5 says this in verse 3, honor widows that are widows indeed. But if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show piety at home and to requite their parents, for that is good and acceptable before God. Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate trusteth in God, and continueth in supplication and prayers night and day. But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth. And these things give in charge that they may be blameless. So the Bible is clearly saying that even when it comes to the church relieving widows, and again, we're not talking about women who went out and committed fornication and are out playing the whore and out getting pregnant out of wedlock. We're talking about legitimate widows. The Bible is saying that the church should only help the widows that are trusting in God, continuing in supplication and prayer night and day, and that if they're living in pleasure, if they're just out partying, that the church should not finance those widows. It goes on to say, let not a widow be taken into the number under 80 years old, having been the wife of one man, well reported of for good works, if she have brought up children, if she have lodged strangers, if she have washed the saints' feet, if she have relieved the afflicted, if she have diligently followed every good work. The Bible is listing all this criteria that for the church to take care of these widows financially, they have to be over 60, they have to be, well reported of for good works, the wife of one man, they have to have lodged strangers, washed the saints' feet, relieved. Like, do people even read the Bible at all? Because the Bible is giving all this strict criteria, even for the church to finance the widows.
So this pastor is calling women who got children out of wedlock whores. And he thinks that that is such a derogative term. I remember in the Bible, Prophet Hosea, Prophet Hosea married Gomer, and Gomer was a literal whore. Gomer was a prostitute. And for some reason, God saw value in that woman and told Hosea to marry her. And even after Gomer kept on being unfaithful to Hosea, Hosea went ahead and bought her back. Okay? So that just means that people still have value in the eyes of God. But this pastor clearly does not know that. And then the other thing, this guy is quoting an imposter who wrote the book of 1 Timothy. This imposter was also a misogynist. And this guy is taking this particular scripture out of context, or he is just ignorant of the context. Because this imposter, the imposter who wrote this particular scripture, was addressing the communities that were surrounded by the Greco-Roman societies. And back then, back in those days, a woman did not have an independent identity. A woman's identity was associated to the men that were around, either her father or her husband. But right now, in the modern world, women have identities. Women have been empowered and they can do pretty much anything. So you cannot treat the modern society the same way misogynists treated women in the ancient societies. You cannot do that. And the second thing this pastor does not understand is that this imposter is talking about older widows. He's telling the church on how, he's advising the church on how to interact, and is laying down criteria that has to be followed before helping an old widow. Because back then, if you're still young as a woman and you lost your husband, you go back to your father or to your brothers, and then they take care of you. But now that particular author was talking about the criteria that had to be followed to help an older woman, not just any other woman. I also remember there was this one time in a synagogue where children tried to approach Jesus, and when the parents of those children tried to prevent that from happening, Jesus told the parents, let them kids come through. Let them kids come through, because the kingdom of heaven belongs to them. And then Jesus went ahead and taught something that is very important, and that thing was associated to children. I don't understand, why is he calling children bastards while Jesus himself was so friendly and he loved children? And he advised Christians to become like children in order to access the kingdom of heaven. And I also remember Jesus Christ feeding thousands of people on multiple occasions without necessarily asking them if they were affiliated with his, religion or his movement or something like that. And he also healed people without considering their religious affiliations. Jesus Christ was serving every single human being on this planet. But for some reason, these churches think that if you do not belong to them, if you're not part of their congregation, if you're not part of those people who gave them sacrifices every single Sunday or every single Wednesday, or whatever, however frequent they take sacrifices and offerings and tithes, you don't deserve their help. Guys, this is not the Bible. This is not Jesus Christ. This is not love that is being preached here. These people have their own agendas, and you are now seeing their true colors. The church is losing efficacy in our society. The functionality of the church is non-existent anymore. These people are scamming the masses. These people are stealing from us. These people are manipulating people. These people are misleading the masses. And I think as a society, we need to get to a place where we have to regulate these religious enterprises masquerading as holy places.